Hey everyone, Gaijin Goombah here. A while back I did a video on my channel that culturally analyzed Smite's depiction of Gaijin, kami of thunder and lightning, so I figured why not bring this kind of content over to Culture Shock. Smite's been on my list of things to do for this show for quite some time now, and with the release of the Shinto pantheon for the game, I feel now would be as great a time as any to talk about Shinto's top dog, Amaterasu. Unlike the other gods and goddesses of Smite who use character-related abilities, Amaterasu and her abilities focus on the three sacred treasures that she takes into combat with her. Those being the jewel around her neck, which activates Divine Presence, giving her buffs and self-heals, her mirror, which activates Heavenly Reflection, which absorbs enemy and user damage and blasts it back in a form of a line beam, and there's her sword, which is the focus of her Glorious Charge straight line attack and Dazzling Offense, which is... yeah, it's actually pretty OP. Now, like I said in past videos, most gamers know who Amaterasu is at this point. Goddess of the sun, most important god in Shinto, yada yada yada, so instead, I want to focus on her sacred treasures, since those are what define her abilities, and how they are inspired to the true-to-life treasures of Japan's royal family. Let's start off easy, her sword. Originally called the Ame no Murakumo, or Sword of Gathering Clouds of Heaven, it was found in the tail of one of Shinto's most hated and dangerous demons. No, not forged from something found in the tail, this was in one of the 7 tails of Yamata no Orochi. A monster so powerful, so impossibly strong, that it took Amaterasu's brother Susanoo getting the beast drunk before he even stood a chance against it. But once he did and decapitated its 7 heads, he found the blade within one of Orochi's tails. Susanoo then presented the blade to Amaterasu in hopes of making amends for burning her golden rice fields out of jealousy from her popularity amongst the other people in Kami. Eventually, the sword alongside the rest of the imperial regalia was passed down from Amaterasu herself to her grandson Ninigi no Mikoto, who in turn was grandfather to Jimmu Tenno, the first emperor of Japan. As of now, it's believed to be housed at Atsuta Jinja Shrine. So, for all the complaining about Amaterasu's Glorious Charge and Dazzling Offense, when you consider the weapon came from a beast that even the gods themselves had trouble defeating, it makes sense for it to be so powerful. Next, let's talk about Amaterasu's Sacred Jewel. It was formed in the shape of a magatama, dating as far back as 14,000 BC, and was a symbol of fortune and a ward against evil. Though the origin of its form is still quite a mystery. Some believe it was symbolic of animal teeth, some say it was symbolic of an embryo, and some believe it to be associated with the Tao symbol of yin and yang. Regardless of its origin, the magatama of imperial regalia, known as the Yasakani no Magatama, was something much more powerful. It was believed to house the soul and power of one spirit, which allowed the next in line who received it to also receive the power of its original holder. Amaterasu's Yasakani no Magatama was presented to her by Izanagi, one of the 2 kami responsible for creating the world itself, and thus bestowed upon her his power and authority to rule. Over time, the Yasakani no Magatama was passed down to generation after generation of emperor, and to this day is still believed to be in the Imperial Palace in Tokyo. So when you think about it, it actually makes sense for Smite's version of Amaterasu to have not 1 but 2 different ongoing buffs to switch to. It's not just Amaterasu's Divine Presence, but Izanagi's as well. Lastly, let's talk about Amaterasu's mirror. Named the Yata no Kagami, or literally 8-handed mirror, it was named due to its 8-pointed pattern, and was used to assist in the baiting of Amaterasu to return herself and her light to the world. See, after Susanoo demolished her fields, killed her assistants, and threw the flayed body of her horse into her home, Amaterasu sealed herself away in a cave known as Ama no Iwato. In her grief and anger, she exiled herself and her light from the world, which was allowed to let demons roam free in the darkness. The kami tried everything they could to get Amaterasu out of that cave. At one point, it was suggested by Omohi Kane, kami of wisdom and intelligence, to gather roosters around the cave, thinking that their crowing would call forth the dawn, but to no avail. Next, the kami placed a large sakaki tree outside the cave and adorned it with magatama jewels and pure white clothing, and finally placed the Yata no Kagami mirror in the middle. And this is the part that Smite took a few well-reasoned liberties with the lore. Yeah, there was a big flashy party outside the cave with Amano Uzume, kami of amusement and laughter, dancing on a barrel making a big racket. But she wasn't just dancing. She was actually performing a striptease, which is what got everyone hooting and hollering the loudest. This is what got Amaterasu out of that cave. And when she did, the first thing she saw was her beauty and strength reflecting in the Yata no Kagami. Having walked nearly all the way out, it was Ame no Tajikara-o, kami of brute strength, that escorted her completely outside the cave to make sure she wouldn't go back in. So why does this vast, seemingly unrelated story have anything to do with Smite's Amaterasu and the heavenly reflection ability? Well, because in Shinto, mirrors were symbols of truth and wisdom. As items that reflected back everything that was presented to them, they were symbols of honesty. Items that do not hide or hold anything back from the truth that is reflected on its surface. As it took the Yata no Kagami mirror to reflect Amaterasu's power and beauty to remind her of who she was, so too does the mirror in Smite reflect back the power that is presented to it by enemies or Amaterasu herself. Man, this was fun. I mean it, I really do enjoy the research that goes into making these Smite episodes. And with over 70 gods and goddesses, I got a lot to work with. So stay tuned for even more Smite analysis down the line. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you clicked on this video, I'm assuming you're into gaming and other geek culture. And if you're looking for some really unique wearable swag to show off your love of nerddom, consider subscribing to Level Up. From the creators of Loot Crate, Level Up is a monthly subscription service that brings popular geek culture attire straight to you. No need to fuss with mall sales clerks asking you every 3 minutes if you need something. For less than $20 a month, 4 to 6 sweet swag items worth twice the price come straight to your door. Like Loot Crate, each month has a theme, and each item in the box matches that theme, with this month's theme being Dead, with of course Deadpool leading the charge, followed closely behind by The Walking Dead, with a little Silence of the Lambs mixed in. And next month features the Versus theme, with unique and awesome clothing featuring Batman vs Superman, Super Mario Bros., Captain America Civil War, and more. By supporting Level Up, you'll also support Culture Shock and my ability to create unique content that isn't purely reliant on trends. As a creator, you can understand how important that is to me. And besides, Level Up is offering a 10% discount to my viewers. So if you're interested in legit cool and unique gaming and geek gear, go to lootcrate.com/culture2 and enter the code culture2 to get 10% off your subscription. You can also head over there through a link in the description. And if you're looking for even more cultural analysis of Smite, I covered the newest guide to come to the game, Gaijin, over on my channel. Or there's also Matt's game theory video talking about whether or not the sexy depictions of Smite's goddesses were on par with their real life equivalent or not. But until next time everyone, this is Gaijin Goombah signing out.